and turn the time over to her.
Hello, everyone. I am Katie. I own Just Add Sunshine. I'm super excited to be here and nervous if my neck turns bright pink to match my sweater. That's normal. It's just what happens when I'm talking. But I'm so grateful for this opportunity that Michael's has given me to collaborate with them and to create with them, and now to chat with you and to share with you all a little bit about myself and my business and how things got started. I have a PowerPoint that I would love for Maddie, for you to share. And so there's me. That is in my craft room that I'm at the table I'm at right now. And as I just say on there, I'm a happy sticker creator. I'm a colorful sign painter, and probably most accurately, I'm a creative mess maker. All right, next slide. I am a happy, wonderful, well, let's say I'm a happy mom to 4 kids, hopefully a wonderful mom, to a wonderful husband. He's my high school sweetheart. We've been married almost 17 years. Our oldest two there, the boys, they're fraternal twins. And they're going to be 15 on Saturday, which just blows my mind. Time flies by so quickly. And then my daughter is 11 and my youngest is 9. We live in San Diego, as you see there in that picture. I love the beach and I love being silly with my daughter. It's just so much fun. And then those rocks are rocks that I collected on the beaches here in San Diego. And it's always, we go beach camping every year, and I love finding rainbow rocks. It's something that has become a tradition, and my daughter and my nieces love to come. We have our buckets and we search for rocks together. As a family, we love to explore. This is a picture at Bryce Canyon last summer, and we just love the beautiful world that we live in. And it's so fun to be able to explore and do things together. And then that skateboard picture, that is something new that I was trying. I have a friend who created this awesome board, and so I had to buy one, and I'm just trying out new things and adventuring and seeing what my body can do. Next slide. Along with that, I'm also, just in the last couple of years, I became certified as a high fitness aerobics instructor. And it's something that in the early years of crafting and in my business, I spent so much time on my business that I kind of lost a lot of sense of me, and became, I would say, very unhealthy. And so I found high fitness, became an instructor, and I just love it. It's something I teach 3 to 5 times a week, and it's been a real blessing in my life. I love supporting my boys, my kids, in their activities, and I was at cross country meet this year. And then hiking. Hiking is a fun thing we love to do as a family, and skiing we also love. And then this is our picture from Halloween this year as a family. So next slide. In that first slide I shared, I stated I'm a sticker creator, happy sticker creator. And about 3 years ago, when water bottles became really popular and stickers became popular, I started designing stickers. And that has been just a fun additional part of my business. Next slide. But I started out as a sign maker, and these are signs that have really evolved from where I started. And I'll get more into how I started, but I make signs. I also love rainbows. I love color. I love bright and happiness. So I love that rainbows factor into it. And then next slide. Along with those rainbows, I also make houses, and it's just a fun aspect, things that kind of carry over from my early days of crafting that I'll talk about as well. And then in that other picture, those are some rainbow polka dot bowls that actually, because of Michael's, is how I kind of came into making those. It was another project I was doing using some glass paints, and it's something I fell into, and I love them. Okay, next slide. And then, just so you know that the cleanliness that's behind me right now, that looks super organized, I have dubbed myself a messy maker of pretty things. But I am Oh, someone has that sticker. That's what I am. I am a messy maker. I can clean up, but as I go, as I'm crafting, I make messes, and then it's time to clean up. And some of that I think was after Christmas mess, it happens. But okay, next slide. So this is what my room looks like today. The table I'm sitting at is that one right there. I just refinished it in the last week and a half, 2 weeks or so. And I sanded down the top, I painted the legs, and it makes me so happy. And then the couch is new. This room, it serves a dual purpose for my family. I think I'll talk about that in a little bit more, but it's a dual purpose room. It's family room and craft room. Next slide. But this room that I'm in, we've been in our house for almost 12 years. And when we bought this house, our house is small. It's from 1962. It's a small house. And this addition that was built before we bought the house is really what makes us able to live here, because with 6 of us in the family, it's, we need to be able to spread out. I know, look at those babies. Those, my youngest is probably 1 right there, and he's 9 right now. But this room, we called it the dungeon because, well, first of all, it was a granny flat. It was rented out, and it had a door that closed it off from the rest of the house. There were no skylights. It was very dark ceilings, as you can see right there. 1 light source that was, with the light switch. And along with being dark and dungeon, it was also very hot or very cold, depending on the season. There was no insulation and no air to speak of. And so in the wintertime, we had heat dishes to keep warm. And in the summer, fans blowing. So this room did not become my craft room for quite a few years. But at this point, it started is this back corner right here that we started, moving things in. Originally, we had my parents' air hockey table in here and a big entertainment center on the other side with a little small TV. And I was super happy when those things disappeared, but we had skylights put in, we painted the ceiling. And so that other picture is the beginning of me really transforming this space into being able to utilize it as a craft room. What I don't have pictured is actually used our kitchen table for the longest time. And even the wall behind our kitchen table held my paints, it held my paintbrushes, it stored signs that were in progress. And so every night, dinner time comes around, it's like I had to put everything away, take the paint cloth off the table, and it was a big process. And so that is where really transforming this room was so important for me to be able to really continue and grow my business. And along with, the painting and the skylights, we had an AC wall unit put in, which is just above me, which made a huge difference. But this past year with pandemic, everyone I feel like was doing house projects. We finally had insulation put on the walls, and it's turned it into a space that is comfortable and cozy. And I can be here crafting and creating while my kids are either playing games or watching a show, or we could do family movie night. Depending on how we're using it is what we call it. It's the playroom, it's the craft room, the family room, one of those rooms. Let's see, next slide. I think these are just another parts of my room. So I had said, the room was rented out, so there's a little kitchenette. So that picture on the right was where my laptop is where a fridge used to be. There's a sink, which is so helpful. And I paint. And so it's so nice to have a spot that's accessible, that I can wash out paintbrushes and not have it be, in the way of kitchen and washing dishes and whatnot. So that has been really great. All right. Next slide. I think we just bounced back to what my room looks like right now. All right. So slides can disappear, but then you'll see that my neck is indeed hot pink, like I said it might be. But I wanted to introduce or share with you how I first started. So like I said, I have started out with twins, and when they were in their first year, we lived in an apartment on upstairs floor. My husband worked. And I mean, as a first-time mom, your life already changes. And then you have twins and live upstairs. And my life really changed. And as much as I loved being with my babies, and it was just wonderful, I started to need something that helped me know that I was more than just someone to feed these babies and change their diapers, as much as I knew they loved me and I loved them, or they would learn to know that they loved me. And actually, it was my oldest brother. I believe he was deployed in Iraq, and we would email back and forth. And he's like, "Have you heard about Etsy?" And I was like, "Oh, I think I have, maybe." And so he kind of encouraged me. I will give credit to my brother Jay for getting me thinking about making and creating. And so the way I started out was with scrapbook paper, Mod Podge, and any flat surface that I could cover. A lot of the things and this is from Michael's long ago, but I would buy frames, wooden frames, or little jewelry boxes, a recipe box. And then this is probably 13 years old by now. And I just cover them in beautiful, bright, happy paper. And the company I'd worked for before I had my babies did craft shows every November on a very small scale, and they asked if I wanted to come. And so that was my first foray into making and creating and selling, which was very exciting. I did have a small shop on Etsy that I tried to access it. I can't even access it anymore, where I sold some of my Mod Podge stuff. But so I did these small craft shows, and then we moved from the apartment, moved in with my parents while my husband went to school full time to get his master's degree. And so again, I had baby twins. My husband was very busy, and we started having play groups, my friend and I, and we would sometimes craft at our play groups. And this friend, my friend Lynn, she's pocket full of paint on Instagram, but we would do craft days, craft nights with us mamas, and get crafting and do things. And it started something that was a release of being able to, really being able to craft with others and to share my love of creating and to teach maybe a process someone's never done before. It really filled my bucket, helped me find something that I loved to do. And then jump forward a few years, we had our house, and this friend Lynn, she was doing a craft show up in Utah called Swiss Days, and it's huge scale craft show. She had a booth, and she asked if I would come and sell signs with her. And this is before Just Add Sunshine existed. So this is about 8.5 years ago. In a 2-week span, I made 100 signs, which actually still feels really big, but it was nonstop. My baby was one, my youngest, and it was a blast. And I can't remember the timing of naming the business, but I remember chatting with my husband, and my first shop name was very cutesy. It was Katie B Designs. My maiden name was a B, Baker. So it was Katie B, and it was very sweet and cute. But if you see behind me, I love sunshine. I love the brightness of things. And so my husband, as we're working through names, he's like, "What about Just Add Sunshine?" And it was that's it. So started an Instagram, and this is a long time ago, so Instagram was quite a bit different, but it was just the start of the journey that I am on now. And things have evolved. I also made arrows with scrapbook paper and Mod Podge, lots of different things. But let me look at my notes real quick for what else I wanted to talk about. I also did a market here in San Diego called Queen Bee Market that really also got me making and creating a little bit more. It also allowed networking with other ladies who lived around me and who I admired, and just a great opportunity to get my name out there and just to be with others who also loved doing the same things I loved doing. Which leads me into, so the title of the class is Loving What You Create and Staying True to Your Brand. But the loving what you create part has always been so very important for me. Sometimes I would make things and maybe not truly like feel like I love it. And again, my husband is like, if you don't love it, if you're not making something that you love, that you wouldn't have up in your own home, it's not going to translate to others, that they won't love it either. I know there's a lot of talented makers out there who do custom work. And I kind of did in the beginning, but for me personally, it hasn't been something I am good at, because like it's hard for me to get inside someone's brain and to know what they're expecting the outcome to be. And so custom work is not something that I personally do. Not to say that there are so many talented people out there who can run with someone's idea and make it better than the person's idea could ever have imagined for themselves. So if I am making things that I love, that I'm happy to share or want to share with others, I know I will just have more joy as I'm making it. And that it really translates into the products and my desire to share and then sell. So also some of the things I love, signs have always been the initial start of my business, what I've continued to do, even as I have other products that work their way into what I'm making. So when I started making a few years ago are these houses, and they're my rainbow houses. I also, like I showed a little bit earlier, I have some with scrapbook paper that I put on them, and they're just so much fun to make. I love choosing the different papers and coming up with different combinations, different paint colors, and love doing that. And then these rainbows are super fun. I get them from a company that cuts them for me, or cuts them and sells them, and then I paint them. And it's so much fun to come up with different color combinations. And I just love that they represent, happiness and hope. And so I love that. But again, anything colorful, bright and happy. So my tips on loving what you create. If you are creating something that speaks to you, that brings you joy, I just think it translates so much better to others, and it will bring joy to others as well. Also, so I'm just looking at my notes. Be okay with knowing that in the beginning, not everything's going to be perfect, and you have to work through things. Sometimes it's a little tweak here, a little tweak there, but go ahead and start, put things out there. Don't wait until something is absolutely perfect before you're ready to show it, to try and, put it out there for others. Because make tweaks along the way, but just don't allow yourself to hold back because something is not absolutely perfect yet. You can work through the kinks. And there's that little part. Are there any questions on that area of making and creating, on loving what you do?
Yeah, we do have a few questions that have rolled in through the Q&A. And if anyone is joining in late, please use the Q&A for any questions you have directed towards Katie, and the chat for general discussion. And I will try to get as many of the Q&A questions out to Katie as we possibly can, but please do understand that there's a lot of them, so we may not get to every single one. So as far as questions on branding and loving what you make, we do have a few that have rolled in. Christy Mitchell asks, like you, I love doing all sorts of things. How do you work out what you wanted to focus on that both sold and made you happy?
Oh, good question. I guess initially, I really started with signs, but I haven't just stuck with signs. I showed the rainbows. I've branched off, into the stickers. I've also done, these are buttons turned into magnets. This was a collaboration pin I did with my good friend Holly, Maker Valley. And then I also made my own. I think what I've done is, are the different products, do they feel cohesive, or can they at least, are they so diverse that they don't really make sense to be within the same company, or are they something that could be a different branch? I know like ebooks, people are good at ebooks or patterns, various different styles of making, but are there things that branch off that make sense? If it's a total 180 from what you're doing, can you bring it in somehow to make it make sense? I don't know. Does that help?
Yes, of course. Okay, next question. Andrea Scott, she has a question. I have some friends tell me to sell items constantly on social media. I finally created an Etsy account and have never sold an item. It's discouraging, but can you share advice on failure? Should I put myself out there more? Should I use different sites than Etsy, or should I just take this as a sign to create for myself?
Yeah. Oh, social media has gotten so, it's exploded. It's different. It's bigger. I really think in the beginning for me, doing the different craft shows, or at least networking in that way of finding others who maybe made the same types of things, did help. And sometimes it's putting yourself out there to messaging someone and saying, hey, I make this item. I would love to send it to you. Making sure it's somebody who you feel like it makes sense. Could I send you this item? And if you love it, you can share, but you don't have to. That's kind of how things are working these days with some different companies. But if you're initially just wanting to get your name out there, it's maybe stepping outside of your comfort zone. And the friends who are encouraging you to do it, would they be willing to share? Are you on Facebook? I'm not big on Facebook, but do you have different people that could help get your name out there? Don't get discouraged. It's a grind, but if you can find the joy in the making and know that each day is a new day, there's also people out there on Instagram who give great tips. Sometimes people ask me like, how did you grow on Instagram? And it's a different world from when I first started, but there are some great teachers, business coaches out there that have great tips. And I'm happy to share those if you wanted to message me. So I have to look up their names on Instagram.
We do have quite a few questions on your strategy for social media marketing and things. How do you market out your brand outside of shows? I do want to quickly plug that a few weeks ago, we had another class just like this with Mr. Domestic, where he spoke on his strategies for social media. And I am going to drop that link into the chat and encourage everyone, if you have a lot of questions on that, to check that out after this class.
Perfect. Yes, definitely go check that out. Social media can be hard and discouraging. And I've been in, I could blame the pandemic. I don't know, but a couple of years of not being on social media quite as much. But I think it's a consistency that I need to get better at myself. If you're not consistent, you really aren't going to pop up into people's feeds. You will not stay relevant if you're popping in once a month. And there are times and seasons. That's where I don't look back at, I think one year, maybe 2020, I posted maybe 40 times out of 365 days. Like, that's not a lot if I'm trying to have people remember who I am and want my things. So there's consistency. Can you create a schedule of every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to post? And you could even decide on Monday, I'm going to post a product I make. On Wednesday, I'm going to post a quote about creativity that I love. On Friday, I'm going to share a process of how I make things. So you can create a schedule, and it really is, from what I'm seeing business or Instagram coaches saying, it's really staying consistent so that you stay out there.
Alrighty, I'm going to keep going with questions until you're ready to stop us. So just let me know. So we have a few questions about your product specifically. Elaine asks, where do you get your wooden house shapes? I also want to make signs and frequently use wooden house shapes for my base. I
actually do the houses myself. So I one year for Christmas, I got a chop saw and I was so excited. So I cut my own wood, the houses. I do know there's gotta be wood companies out there that may have some shapes available, but like I even do different sizes, and those I cut and sand myself. So I can't help you there. And then other wood stuff. Also, price of wood just got crazy during this time. And so that has also kind of played into my lack of sign making, and just for my own self, the movement of things within my home and garage getting kind of taken over kind of stopped my ability to cut and sand wood at the time. But pricing definitely plays into things right now. But I typically do use Home Depot wood. How about the other topic of my class is staying true to your brand. So I think when I first heard staying true to your brand, or brand, I only imagined like what you see, what you look at. So my brand would be colorful, on a bright, crisp background. But it's more than that. It's kind of your messaging. It's how you treat others. It's how your company, and for me, my company is me. It's just, I'm my one person. But it's like intrinsically, how do I function within my company? How do I treat others with responses to emails, comments on Instagram or DMs? And I'm not always great at that, but everything I do, I make sure I infuse it with kindness. That's how I want to be treated. That's what we teach my children in our home. We're like, hey, you're not speaking kindly. It's really such a top importance for us is kindness. And so that's my company as well. Kindness, positivity, sharing light, being a light to those around us. There's so much hard happening in the world around us that I don't want to add to it. I want to detract, or bring light into someone's day and help them feel excited, or bring a smile to their face, have a little bit of happiness in a day that might not otherwise be going well. So that is my brand. And for me, I got to stay true to my brand. And that's, like I said, kindness, positivity, and bringing a little bit of happy into someone's life. So for you to decide what your brand is, write down some of those top values that are important to you. Do some brainstorming. What is important to you? And then branding is also like how things appear, what they look like, and what do you love? Obviously, my aesthetic is not what everybody loves. There's a lot of neutral lovers out there, and I, for the life of me, do not know how to decorate in neutral colors, but that's okay. I love my house. I love my craft room. And I love sharing it with others as well. All right. Any questions on that, or any other businessy questions?
Sure. Let's see. Any advice for a maker just starting their business? Any tips on what social media sites to grab your handle on, or things to prioritize over another?
Yeah, definitely make sure Instagram you've got if you're planning to sell. I'm currently only on Etsy, but I know Shopify is a big one. If you want to save it on, Facebook as well. I truthfully am not big on all of the platforms, and so I'm not great with advice there. Here, one name I can remember of an Instagrammer who's a business coach, Instagram guru. I swear she knows all the things. Her handle is Anna is the worst, which makes me smile. ANNA is the worst. And she is just brilliant in all things Instagram. And some of it, again, is just getting started. Even if your follower numbers are small in the beginning, know that consistency and posting and getting pictures in your feed is so important, so that someone doesn't go, oh, like let's say you have one picture and someone's like, oh, I really like what this picture is. Let me go see what else she has. If there's nothing else there, it's like, oh, okay, is she not making? Is she not selling? Like maybe she's not current. And so you really got to populate that feed and then stay consistent. And another thing you can do is comment on other Instagrammers, those you admire, those that kind of resonate with you as maybe similar type makers, and comment on there and be authentic in what you're saying and consistent. I know I keep saying it, be consistent.
Cindy asks if you have items that you make that may not be cohesive with one another, such as jewelry and stickers. Would you recommend having different name and Instagram page for each of them separately?
I was thinking about this because there's, initially I was just signs and I've weaved in these other things. I was thinking sometimes you could do, if you're doing it constantly or all the time, the jewelry making and the other item, if it seems like you're bouncing back and forth, maybe you need to, but you could also try like a limited release or even say, I've gotten into jewelry making and I really enjoy this as well. And I love it. And I would love to share it with you. And it can be woven in, I think, depending on what the other product is, but I think definitely try. And actually one of Michael's projects that I did recently was I got into bracelet making and it was so much fun. Well, so bracelet making and signs are very different, but some of the bracelets I've made, which I'm not selling because I'm not that pro at it yet, but are the happy colors. They're bright and cheerful. Or let's say there's letters, what words am I putting on there? Shine is always one of my favorite words, or choose happy. So I think you can weave it in and you can make it work.
Next question from Lori. She says, do you believe your joy in making and your integrity helps you be more successful in your business? My guess is yes. Your kindness and enthusiasm brought me to you and a few of your fellow makers.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I think you can tell if someone is faking it, or even has stopped loving what they're doing. Maybe it was something that they did love. And there are things like sign making has taken a back burner at the moment because I am not finding the joy in that. Every now and then I do get a question if I'm having a sign sale soon. And then again, like I said, I don't do custom orders, but I will be asked if I do that. And I reply with kindness and say, not quite yet. And if it's not bringing me joy, it comes through. I can, even if it's not totally apparent on the other side or through Instagram, it'll come through in my lack of sharing. It'll come through in my lack of having a sale. And the joy, if you can find joy in the things you're making, it'll come through. And I definitely think people, they see it. So yes.
All right, next question. We had a few people calling back to earlier. You spoke about custom designs. Have you considered, or Cassie asks, have you considered trying custom again now that you understand yourself as an artist more and know your goals and visions?
The one thing I have done and maybe would look into would be not full custom. So for me, it would be, okay, I have like every now and then, I didn't do it this year. I think I did it last year. At the beginning of the year, a lot of people will choose a word. So I've done like a semi-custom, like here's the design. And typically it's rainbow order of letters and the font is already chosen, but what is the word you want? And then, so in that way, I've done semi-custom, but it kind of brings anxiety to me. And so it's not something that I personally would get back into.
All right, next question. Betsy says, I love your sales model. Can you elaborate on how and when you decide to run your sales?
So what would be great is if I said every month I do one on this date. I'm just at a stage where for myself, I have twins now in high school and busier life. My husband currently has been home, as many have, for the last 2 years, working from home. And then I'm teaching high fitness more frequently. So my life has changed a little bit where I am not doing the same amount of sales. However, when I lead up to a sale, I do plan ahead, hopefully at least 2 weeks out, and say upcoming sale. And sometimes I do a pre-order where it will be, here's the sign, and my shop will be open for 24 hours, however many sales that come in, I will then make them. And then that's obviously going to be a couple week turnaround for myself. There's other times where, especially with my little houses that I make with paper, those are made ahead of time and they're one of a kind, and I will have a set number of what those look like. Now, moving forward for this year, I am wanting to get more consistent. I'm wanting and excited to get back into more frequent sales and more making and creating. So I still don't have that plan laid out, but I'm gonna work on it.
Next question from Nancy. How many of one item do you make when it's new and you're not sure how it will sell? And if they don't sell, what do you do with them?
So that is often, if it is new, I will do a pre-order. And sometimes pre-orders can go really well. Sometimes it's, like one thing will sell. So some of that is the build up to it of, oh, look at this new sign I made. I love it so much. I'm going to have it available in however much more time, in a week, and it will be pre-order. You are going to want to buy it, even though it'll take some time to get to you, because I love it and I know you will too. So you can talk it up and really get someone excited about it. And then it will vary on how your orders have looked in the past. Moving forward, you kind of need to be a little bit intuitive as to if it's an item that you feel like people, it will resonate with them, then you can, choose to do more. Like kindness matters. I feel like that's something that always, it's a message that people really love. Also, isn't it February, I think, is kindness month, I think, something like that. And so there's different times that you can go, oh, this could do really well. Another strategy you could do is make a set number. I have, let's say, 5 available, ready to ship, and then a pre-order will open for however many other. So that's one way you can do it, because it is hard if you make a bunch of items, especially if you're excited about it. Like, I have all of these made and no one wants them. And maybe that's you set it aside and then you talk it up and a few months later and say, remember these? I love them so much and I have them available again. You don't need to say it was because you didn't sell all of them. It's just that, hey, look, they've come available again.
We have a question from Carol. How do you package and ship your orders? And I wanted to add on to that question. I know that some brands use their packaging as an opportunity to really showcase their branding. So I thought maybe you might have some ideas on that.
Yeah. So again, I'm a lone girl doing all the things. So I order my boxes mostly in shipping materials from Amazon. I know a lot of people will use Uline, and just so far with the sizing of stuff, Amazon has done me pretty well with packaging. And I actually use, here, I'm going to take you guys on a field trip. Okay. I use this, it's like painter paper, masking paper. I use that to package a lot of my stuff. And then I have this, it's an art paper roller that I got from IKEA in the kids section. And that's what I use. I do with my signs. Get you back to the right spot here. I bubble wrap my signs because there have been a few times over the years that a sign will arrive and it's banged up or it has a dent. And so you have to remake it. And that is so disheartening. I also had a bowl or two break early on when I first started doing these because I didn't package them well enough. They were not secure in what I shipped in. So I would say if it's something in a box, it's something that's breakable, make sure it is so well wrapped that it will arrive in one piece and you won't have to worry about that. I also do love, so I use, make sure I don't bump into things. I have Just Add Sunshine stickers that I put on the outside of my packaging. And sometimes I'll even add one of my, like a small sticker to it. But yes, I like people to know when their packaging arrives, it's coming from Just Add Sunshine. Also, I do, every now and then I ship something with a bubble wrap, and I like a colorful one. It just makes it more happy. And then you add the Just Add Sunshine sticker to it, and it's just fun. And then whoever gets it in the mail, isn't it more fun to get something bright and happy? So happy mail is always appreciated.
Our next question is from Lori. Are you happy with your balance between your business and your home life? I love that you put family first and are still successful in your business. It teaches me that I can pursue selling things that I love and not sacrifice family and my sanity. Any words of wisdom on this topic of balance?
That is such a great question. And it's something that has come with years of doing this, but if you can learn it early on, you will be so much happier. Let's say I've been doing this for 8 years. So probably 4 or 5 years ago, every summer, even my kids were so much younger, I was still having sales and I was still making signs, and my kids would be stuck at home during the summer and they'd want to go swimming or they'd want to go to the beach. And I hated when I had to be like, I have orders that have to go out, and having that be a priority over my children, which I thankfully got to a point where I started taking summers off. And that's probably been about 3 years or so. But really, I mean, the past couple of years, I just haven't sold as many things or had as many sales because of where my focus has changed. But it was also in finding a different product that I could make and sell, where it's still, have still been able to use that outlet of creating and making, which is just such a part of my being. I had a friend once ask me, do you have to like paint every single day? And I was like, and maybe when she'd said create, I was like, yeah, actually, I think I do. And it was at a point where it helped me feel like I had something to offer more. It's not just as being a mom, because that is not at all how I feel about motherhood, but it helped me know that I was still my own person. So finding that balance, also, as I have said, with being a high fitness instructor, my health took a back seat for a lot of years. And it took a while for me to really, I had tried running, I had tried doing other things, none of that brought me joy. And so the first time I went to a class, it was like, this is what I want to do. And so a lot of my balance, which I don't think balance is ever, fully equal, but it is finding balance of the various different important parts of our life. So for me, it's health, family, business, friends, other things, and making it work so that at the end of the day, I'm happy with how my day has gone at the end of the month. We're definitely, again, times and seasons. There'll be times when let's say we're having a sale and, hey, family, guess what? This is going to benefit our family. It's also good for me. So for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to need help. I'm going to be really focused on this drop that I'm going to do, this sale that I'm going to have. And then for yourself, knowing that at other times, for me, summers are dedicated to my children and dedicated to my family, dedicated to us having a good time together and building memories with each other. So it's like, take a look at what is most important to you, kind of choose those core values for your own life, and, accordingly decide how much time you want to spend in each place.
Krista asks, as an individual who wears all the hats in your business, do you think it's possible to bring enough income to support a family, or would you have to hire help if you wanted to grow that big? How do you go about setting realistic expectations for your success?
Currently, I think I would run myself into the ground with the way I'm the items I'm selling and just the time that is needed. I have my children and my husband really want me to make t-shirts, and I've done a collaboration with my friend who I did the pins with, Maker Valley. And we did shirts a few years ago, and it was so fun. And so part of it is like sitting down and deciding what other avenues could I branch out into that would produce enough income that would require me to hire other workers. So I know there's definitely ways out there. I think I've been a little bit reluctant just myself in, would it be successful? How much harder do I have to work? So some of this is, I need to have a talk to myself if I were to do such a thing and really commit to wanting to do it. And then, but I don't think I'd be able to support my family at this point. Who knows? Maybe in a couple of years.
There are some questions on what platforms you are currently using and the importance on, do you need a website, a dedicated website, or can you just use Etsy or Shopify or something?
So I've actually so far just been successful with Instagram. So I'm Just Add Sunshine Inc., INC on the end, Just Add Sunshine Inc. on Instagram, and then with Etsy. And I've been really successful on Etsy, and with sticker sales that has just grown a lot, and being able to go there. I think Shopify would be a great place for me to branch out to and have it be more of my own website. And there's just some of it you have more ownership of and different percentages that wouldn't be taken from my sales. I haven't done it quite yet. Some of it, again, it's just that I need to sit down and learn how to do it, take the time to do it. But I don't feel like you need to be on all the platforms social wise. I know with, Instagram makes it easy to share to Facebook. So that is an easy way to do things. And you can always do an Etsy and a Shopify account, see how they each perform, and then choose one or the other.
We had a question on hiring outside help in order to help with your branding or designing things for your company, and how much of your resources should go to hiring outside help.
I don't really have a lot of experience with that because I do design, like here's a lot of my stickers. I do the designing of this myself, even the design of my labels and whatnot. I took a long time ago, a photo class at our community college, and I actually learned Photoshop in that and was able to teach myself how to do that kind of stuff. So branding, if you have zero capabilities, then it probably is smart to reach out and to find others who could help you. I just don't have experience that I can offer.
That was another question though. Do you take your own product pictures? If so, what sort of setup do you use? Do you use an editing program?
I'm sure many of you would laugh and be like, oh, wow, she's a professional, huh? I used to use my DSLR camera, my nice big camera, and do all the editing on Photoshop. But with iPhones now, and Androids, our new phones have such great resolution that I do most of my products I take with my iPhone, and I use Lightroom on as the app on my phone and do most of my editing there. If I need to pop something into Photoshop, I'll email it to myself and edit it there. But yeah, that's how I do it. I do know, depending on what your products are, there are some great setups of, if it's a small little item, great setups to like put your product in with a white background that just lights it up perfectly. And I know Michael sells something like that. I cannot think of the name.
Shopbox.
What is it?
It's the Shopbox.
The Shopbox. I've looked at that and gone, wow, that's really cool. But I know a lot of times people do like to see items in your living space. So I used to, before we tore out a wall over here, I had a great shiplap wall and a shelf underneath it that I would take a lot of my pictures on. And so I kind of had to figure out a new place to take pictures for that. But light, making sure you edit your phone or on your phone or wherever you're going to edit, having photos that are not dark, that are light and crisp, really help for sure. And someone just mentioned the outside pictures are amazing. Yeah, using outdoor light and that natural light is really very helpful.
We had a question on if you could estimate how much of your time dedicated towards your business you have allocated towards the physical making of your products, crafting them, versus handling the business side of it. Do you have a rough idea?
Kind of depends on that. Well, no, all the items. I'm going to say when I make the houses, that's a lot of cutting and sanding and painting. There's lots of layers there. And with the signs, that's also time consuming. If I'm in a like sale mode, more of my time is going to be spent producing the product. But man, shipping can also take up a lot of your time. So I don't think I have a concrete number that I could figure out. That'd be really smart to know. I don't know. Sometimes it feels like it's 50-50 once you're doing the shipping and the labeling and the packaging up, but I don't really have a great answer for that one.
Darlena asks, how do you price your items? Is there a sort of formula or anything that you use in order to gauge what you charge your customers?
I think a lot of it kind of started from the beginning. It was looking at what other sellers and makers who were making something similar, how their products were priced. Were they successful in selling their items? When I first started doing stickers, it was at the beginning of like stickers becoming a thing and popular, and I had zero clue how to price those. And so it was looking at a friend of mine, she was selling stickers. Okay, what is she selling hers at? And what are these people doing? And so it was kind of a compilation of, okay, that sounds right. And would I pay that? That's a great way to look at it, which can also be kind of hard because a lot of times you're like, I can make that. And so I wouldn't pay for it. And so then it could be a question to a friend. Like, can you honestly share with me, here's the price I'm thinking of for this. Does that sound high? Does that sound low? So getting some feedback from others is helpful.
Do you have any experience with difficult customers who wanted refunds, or they just were giving you a lot of trouble, or any lessons you could take away from a memorable customer?
I thankfully don't really. And perhaps that's why I don't do custom stuff, because I feel like that's where a lot of that can show itself. And so that could be just the reason why I don't like custom work, because I don't like difficulty. I don't like conflict. I don't like any of that. I think if you do your very best work, don't just quickly, oh, I have to get this thing made because I want to have the sale. Like, put your best work into it. Make sure that what you are producing is the highest quality that you can produce, and that are you happy with it at the end of the day? A lot of times as I'm painting a house or something, I'll see that I haven't sanded it down all the way and there's some edges that could use some work. Sometimes it's hard to make myself go out into the garage and get the belt sander out and sand it back down. But I know it will just eat at me if I don't create a product that is as perfect as I can make it be. So if you're putting your best work into it, hopefully that will show itself, and then those difficult customers won't be a thing. If they are, the best thing I think you can do is be the kindest you can be, but also if you have a return policy, that's an important thing you can add into your shop, on the listing, wherever, and just make sure you're delivering a product that is what you promised.
Okay, last question for you before we wrap things up. Do you believe we were born creators? How would you encourage others to dig down and release that creator within us?
Oh, I love that question. I for sure think so. I think creation is just innate in our bodies. I think what's important, so growing up as a kid, I had friends who were such great artists drawing. artists and painting. And that's not a skill I possess at all still. And so I truly never thought of myself as creative for the longest time. When I was a senior in high school, we had a class called textile arts that I got to take. And I had always loved taking pictures, but taking this class, we made a photo album, like a quilted folder that had padding and fabric and lace. I still have it. It's really cute. But it helps like open my eyes to see that just because I initially had my definition of creativity was the ability to draw or paint. My eyes were opened to see that that's not how everybody creates. Sometimes someone creates in the kitchen. It's how their meals are made. It's what their meals look like. And it's a joy for them to create that. Others, it's metalwork, woodwork, so many different avenues. And sometimes it's putting together a beautiful outfit, decorating your home beautifully. It's creating. All of those things are a way we create. It's within us to be able to do. So as a suggestion of, searching those things out, can you take a class? Especially if you're interested in finding those abilities or learning about what you can create. Is there a class that offers many different types of ways to create? The photography class I took was awesome and helped me with photography, but also then taught me Photoshop. So I've been able to do other things. And so I think if you're wanting to cultivate that creativity, but don't know where to start, there's a lot of online classes, watercolor classes, hand lettering is, very popular, and there's so many classes out there. But be willing to try, be willing to fail, and be willing to say, okay, just because that was a failure doesn't mean I have to stop. I can keep going, or I can keep trying. I can look for something else. And if you have children, cultivate that within your kids of, okay, let's play with Play-Doh, even though Play-Doh sometimes hard, but what can you do to, in that young age, cultivate that creativity from an early time? But it's never too late. So find something to try and go for it.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much, Katie. If people have any more questions for you, where can they reach out to you?
So I'm on Instagram, and it's, like I said, just add Sunshine Inc. INC at Gmail. But that is my email also, just add Sunshine Inc. at Gmail. But I'm on Instagram, and then my shop is at the same name, and those are going to be the best ways. If you have something more lengthy to ask, Gmail, my just add Sunshine Inc. at Gmail is the best way to reach me. DMs can get lost and can get hard to reply to, but there you go.
Perfect. Thank you everyone so much for joining us today, and we hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.